All right, let's see what I can do on this one. This is I didn't realize what a relevant video would be, but is hair loss simply a genetic trait or is it a flaw? Getting a lot of comments and challenging for sure. Here's one from Daniel Lyon Arts, and he's asking for my help. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to help because I've only kind of glanced over this, but I thought, hey, if he's going to spend that much time sending me a message that big, I feel that I want to help him and hopefully maybe help someone else as well. Here he says, quote, "Hey Nick, I just discovered your channel because I'm about your age, about 35, and dealing with being a Norwood 2.5 to 3-ish. It's thinning mostly on the crown. My dad is mostly bald, his father was bald, and my mom's dad had very thin hair until he passed on in his 70s. This has been something I've been aware of, my hair loss, since I was in my early to mid 20s and have been on and off internally, emotionally, psychologically battling partially because I'm an artist and I've developed a very strong view concerning visual aesthetics and beauty. And I'm still single and looking for the woman God may have in his plan for my life, if there is even one in my future. Obviously hoping to meet her sooner than later. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for making all these videos and how refreshing and encouraging it is to see a fellow brother in Christ sharing about his journey with his extremely common yet challenging experience. I would be lying if I said my hair doesn't mean anything to me, but I would like to get to a point like you where I'm just fully accepting of it is more than genetically unavoidable, and to handle it with grace and confidence. So if there was one question I have for you after watching a bunch of your videos, it would be, do you have any advice for someone like me? Thanks again, all my best to you," end quote. So I immediately want to say thank you to Daniel. You're being very vulnerable, you know, and that's very important for men to do. We're wired typically to hold things in and not tell how we feel. And I think for me, the journey of emotional intelligence has helped me greatly through that, to understand, you know what, I don't want to wear my feelings on my sleeve, nor do I want to have things boxed up somewhere archived in here and yet make decisions about my life based on those limitations that I place on myself. And there's an important balance, and I feel in the last couple of years I've really been able to understand that more. And it's not just being in your mid-30s, it's mid-20s, it's even as a teenager. It's a matter of understanding what things are holding you back. And sometimes they can be these subtle little details, but I think I need to bring attention to it. Daniel had said how he's an artist and how basically he's kind of, I'm putting my own spin on it, he's basically obsessed with the visual aesthetics. Here he says, "I'm an artist and I've developed a very strong view concerning visual aesthetics and beauty." All right, so here's what I think. I think based on this exact story, and by the way, I'm such a non-professional. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyone who's watching this video should go ahead and just turn it off, because I'm no good to anyone. I'm not a professional. But as long as you understand that I'm not a professional and still want to keep watching this video anyway of just an average guy with a camera and a YouTube channel, what I'm going to say is I think that this might be one of those things. You've got an obsession with visual aesthetics. The thing that makes you great at being an artist is the thing that's holding you back in the real world to some degree. Now, I'm not here to say, oh, you should freak out because you're in your mid-30s and you haven't met. No, that's okay. Just because I was 27, and even for me, maybe some people would say that was later, to meet my wife. But, well, actually, I was 25 when I married, 27 when we got married. But either way, I wonder, though, if psychologically that's something that actually is holding you back in life in general. I'm asking a question here. Is it possible, though, that, and again, my word, obsession, that your obsession with what is physically, aesthetically perfect, and I'm adding the word perfect, but to prove a point, is that holding you back in life? I wonder, and I can't know the answer, I wonder if part of what's kept you from finding the right person to marry and spend your life with, is it possible that your obsession with everything being physically perfect, could that even be holding you back? Are you too easily finding flaws with women? I'm just saying, I'm asking, I don't know. I'm also asking, What other parts of your life are being limited because of this? I think that's really a big part of this, is there's part of you that's a perfectionist. And again, it makes you a great artist, but it holds you back in the rest of your life. And it's going to be difficult for you to overcome that struggle to find perfection when life is not perfect. This may be the worst advice ever, and again, no one should listen to me, no one should ever take me seriously, because I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel and a camera. That's all I am. I'm not a professional, I'm not a psychologist. But I always look at the root of the problem. You know, this channel it brings in people worrying about their hair loss. They're worrying about their hair loss. And what do? I say, oh yeah, you wanted to find this perfect solution to hair loss? You're not gonna find it. Instead, you're gonna find a guy who's gonna try to help you overcome that with a level of confidence and acceptance in who you are. But I think it's important. We're all wired different. We all had different events in our lives to cause us to do. I actually think that being a perfectionist is definitely a limitation more than it is an advantage. To me, it's very obvious, because if things aren't a certain way, then you can't do them. And I think all of us to certain degrees have had to overcome that and sort of lower our standards and lower our perspectives on what we're wanting out of life. And that's definitely what we have to do when it comes to hair loss. We have to lower our standards, lower expectations. So Daniel, this is me wanting to hug you and help you right now. I think that you've got the curse of being a perfectionist. That's what I think. I think you're so in tune with what is aesthetically and pleasing that when you look in the mirror and you see your hair loss, it's going to bother you. Even though you're 35 now, you're in your mid-30s and you're reaching an age where it's very normal for us to reach Norwood 3, if we're even officially there yet. And yet that bothers you. I think that's what's holding you back. I think that you're a perfectionist. And I think that you have to lower your standards and be able to live your life more by doing that. Now, I'm not telling you how to do that. I'm saying me being this fake psychologist, because I'm so not a real qualified person to help anyone. I just feel that if I can help you, it's by telling you that that's the ultimate problem. And I think that everything else that's going on, finding the right person to marry, dealing with your hair loss, moving on in life in other ways that we haven't even talked about, ultimately come down to you needing to lower your standards to a certain degree so that they're more in congruence with what reality is, instead your perceived idea of how perfect the world should be. That's my heart. You shared your heart with me. That's my heart back to you. What do you think?